Hey everybody, yes I am here, I am alive. If you hear noises in the background, my trading screen is active, and it's December 6th, 2016, and yes, I've been off the grid for a while. Last we met, I talked a little bit, or I guess quite a bit, about my desire to disconnect from the public, disconnect from social media. And it's been not quite 3 months, but 2.5. And just want to come back and chat a little bit about my my current state of mind as it relates to interacting with the trading world. Talk about the trading industry, the markets. A lot has happened between the last time we did this and tonight. We have had elections. I'm not sure if Brexit was before we stopped doing these, but certainly the U.S. elections, the Italian referendum the other day, and just share some observations as I look at setting my 2017 plan in motion from a business planning perspective, as well as how social media fits into this. And it's been fascinating, and again, forgive me, I've got clickers in the background as the market moves off the catcher's mitt level. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit too, but it's been fascinating to watch the elections and watch the impact and the use of social media platforms. And as I have seen this play out, and I'm going to try not to get political here, but as I've seen this play out with the new administration and the new president-elect, and seeing all the good and the bad and the ugly and the wonderful of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, it of course took my mind back to trading, and it took my mind back to where we last left this, which was really trying to assess, are we providing any value? I was thinking, as I said in that last video, that we were getting away from that which was really intended to always be the cornerstone of this business, of this purpose. And that was largely the desire to put a face and name to a trader, and to provide some transparency, to provide some support, to uplift, enlighten, motivate, plug in your verb. That's really what this was always about, and so I'm trying to figure out as we go forward whether and how this fits into and my business plan in terms of trading. I enjoy this. I've always said I get some value out of it in terms of connecting with the trading world. It allows me to talk through some of my personal challenges or my business plan challenges. And so how that fits into this world where, again, we're coming off of a couple of months here where it has been proven that there is so much good to be gained from social media, but there's also a lot of challenge. Fake news stories has been real as of late. People tweeting that may be hyperbole in nature, shall we say, taken literally. And so, how this fits into what I do going forward, I don't know. But it's been fascinating to watch that play out as I kind of look at how we fit in here. I want to talk tonight, though, and I'm not sure I'm going to do another one of these before the end of the year or not, but I tweeted the other day that I was following a couple of or reading a couple of books. I've got 3 here, actually. First one's called Relentless, From Good to Great to Unstoppable. And one of the reasons I wanted to come back on tonight was because of what I read here. I'm going to find it. It was in one of the introductory pages. Page 5. And they talk about your goal setting, how you're going to get there, you're going to make some choices. And it says it's time to stop listening to what everyone else says about you, telling you what to do, how to act, how you should feel. It's none of their business how you get where you're going. If you're relentless, there's no halfway, no could or should or maybe. Don't tell me the glass is half full or half empty. You either have something in that glass or you don't. Decide, commit, act, succeed, repeat. Everything in this book is about raising your standard of excellence, going beyond what you already know and think, beyond what anyone has tried to teach you. Kobe says he wants 6 rings. I want him to have 7. A guy tells me he wants to come back from an injury in 10 weeks. I'll get him there in 8. You want to drop 30 pounds? You'll drop 34. That's how you become unstoppable, by placing no limits on yourself. Not just in sports, but in everything that you do. I want you to want more and get everything you crave. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second, because this is where we've got to be, I think, careful, because this is not and never about greed, but it is about optimal performance, and it's about growing value to the extent possible that value can be grown. So I just want to interject there. I don't care how good you think you are or how great others think you are. You can improve, and you will. Being relentless means demanding more of yourself than anyone else could ever demand of you. Knowing that every time you stop, you can still do more. You must do more. The minute your mind thinks done, your instincts say next. And it goes on and on. But a great primer for a book that I'm starting to thoroughly enjoy and is going to become one of my favorites. 2 others I got that I have not yet started yet. The Champion's Comeback, How Great Athletes Recover, Reflect, and Reignite. It's really the reignite part that really fascinated me, and as I looked at the list of chapters, talks a lot about comebacks. You know, when you go back to the beginning premise for this blog, if you go back to the old blog, the first couple of posts, boy, when was that? 2007, July. We talked about the fictional draw, always coming back, getting in every trade as if you're coming back. Which had the effect of minimizing any future losses and magnifying gains and being aggressive and knowing that you were comfortable doing so. And so that part of what I read here got me going. So the first couple of chapters, coming back in sports and life, cracking the comeback code. And comebacks, they're talking about whether it's a performance issue, whether it's a loss, real loss, maybe it's an opportunity loss, opportunity cost. I've often said that for me, even though we try not to lose money, we realize that that's part of the business. We realize that that is one of the expenses in this business. And so that really doesn't bother me as long as it's managed appropriately. Opportunity cost, opportunity loss, on the other hand, in being available for an opportunity and not taking advantage of it for one reason or another, or sub-optimizing, that will drive me crazy and make me lose more sleep than anything. Let's see, mental game bounce backs. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading this. The other one I got, which fits right in line with a lot of things that we talked about before, is How Bad Do You Want It? By Matt Fitzgerald. The Champion's Comeback is written by Jim, I'm probably going to butcher his last name, Afremow, A-F-R-E-M-O-W, Ph.D. How Bad Do You Want It? Matt Fitzgerald. And by the way, Relentless, written by Tim Grover. So anyway, 3 books added to my trading nightstand, if you will, and books that are really exciting me a whole lot. Again, a lot has happened. One of the things that I've seen is a reinforcing of the fact that in my opinion, the greatest market opportunity in terms of pace, in terms of price action, in terms of ability to size. You've heard me say this before, in a non-cowboy fashion, continues to be during Asia and during Europe. And they're going to play ping pong every now and then. You know, maybe Europe's going to be very active for a while, and then Asia's going to be very active, depending upon what's going on in the world. The elections certainly have provided both the setups and the price action that have just resulted in some bonanzas for those that have been able to take advantage of it. And so what I have seen over the last couple of months, largely because of the elections, but in some cases not necessarily because of that, is that the strongest patterns are not necessarily during the U.S. hours. It's just not. There are going to be some days where they're there, but I continue to be surprised, stunned, amazed at how little activity there is. well, in terms of social media, in terms of just the stuff that's written about this, everything seems geared toward the U.S. RTH, and I don't understand that. Talked a little bit about the catcher's mitt earlier. I've taken some grief for that, and I've had almost 3 months to think about this now, and I was probably. So I kind of looked at it and said, well, you know, if some people say, oh, what's he doing? You know, he's crazy. You know, he's doing this or that. Regardless of what we call it, okay, it is and continues to be one of the most powerful setups in the industry. It just is. If you've got a market that's been trending and has put in strong supports over the course of a day, that first retracement, either you know 3:30 in the afternoon Eastern time or after market, after the RTH session closes, and you're starting to move into the Asia session, the world does not stop just because the U.S. Clock hits 5 p.m. Eastern. It just doesn't. And the opportunities for those setups have just been phenomenal. And so, you know, I was probably a bit sensitive to some critique that I was getting for that. But, you know, I've been reminded that you know, why? You know? So, A, don't be bothered by it. And B, it's just, it's out there. So I'm going to continue to call it the catcher's mitt because I know a few folks have picked up on that. You know, we're going to, you know, to the extent that we go back online, we talk about it. It's certainly become a staple and a highly profitable staple of my own trading. So, you know, what's to beef about? So anyway, we'll continue to have fun for it. We're talking with some folks today, you know, about the you know, the mitt entry, you know, 07, 08. As today was playing out, and I'm not just on here because it played out. It just is something that I mean continues to be very, very high. And whether you get one sequence off or multiple sequences off, it really doesn't matter. Just learn the pattern, burn it in, and more than anything else, get yourself in a mindset where don't just shut the mind down once the U.S. market closes. If you are serious about this business, if you're serious about this business, you cannot just look at this in a 8 to 5, 9 to 5 U.S. Eastern Time Zone time frame. You just can't. If you do that because you've got family commitments and all that, I get that, but you will be cutting your sample size down greatly, and you will have to work a lot harder. A lot harder. You've got to fish when the fish are biting, and that's not always going to be the convenient time. If it was during the convenient time, everybody would be making money. Everybody would be doing well. Okay. The market is meant to put us in inconvenient places. Personally, it just is, and we have to deal with it. We have to work through that. Okay. So anyway, a little bit about the mitt. What else can we talk about? I'm going to give some careful thought to how this fits into my my trading plan, my business plan, heading into next year. I've had a few months to sit back, think about it. We've done this from time to time. We've taken a break. And as long as we strive to enlighten, uplift, support, provide you a sense that you are not alone in this. A lot has been said, discussed, documented, written, discussed about the vast successes that I have been blessed to have in this business. As well as the challenges that I've had in this business. And I hope to continue to balance that, to provide that continued degree of realism, because I think it's important that whatever we do, that we do this for mutual benefit. And whether it's through this sort of a thing, whether it's through, you know, providing some insights, as I see new developments in trading or in the markets, whether it's through formal education, you know, as long as we maintain those goals, I think that we will be okay in steering away from the quagmire that we can all start leaning to. And I think taking a couple of months off has helped me more clearly see, as I've talked to folks, you know, where this might fit in. So I continue to do that to some extent. I'll probably start slowly, you know, morph into it again. But I certainly enjoy this. I certainly, you know, want to thank everybody that's that's been around me for quite some time now. If you're new to this, you know, I'm a trader. I've learned a few things in this business. This business is not about reinventing the wheel. I think you have to invent yourself to some degree, but take advantage of the stumbles that those of us who have really done this have learned in many ways the hard way. And it is very important to put that filter on your social media, whether it's, you know, listening to this or listening to anything else or reading it. Whatever we feed our mind with is how we're going to live, and we are going to be influenced largely by the people that we surround ourselves with, whether it's in person or whether it's through social media mechanisms like this. And it's important for us, for me, to surround myself and ourselves with people that will be supportive and uplifting and provide insight without getting in your way, without telling you what to do, as we just read in that book. And so, you know, to the extent that that we can do that successfully, you know, maybe we'll ease back online a little bit. Suggestions always welcome. But I'm a trader first and foremost. I continue to be. This business continues to enliven me, engage me, excite me, enrich when I'm on my game, and there's so much opportunity out there. I'll leave you with this one thought, that we have a blank slate heading into next year. That very next trade sequence you make, whether it's on Globex tonight, and I see us being, you know, maybe not necessarily active tonight, but fairly active in terms of managing the existing trades. Whether it's that next sequence, or tomorrow, or next week, or January, the past doesn't matter. To quote, who was it, Mark McGuire? The past does not matter. I said in the book that we often hear the phrase "past performance is not indicative of future results" used to remove the risk, if you will, of certain programs and anybody's performance results. We always hedge it a little bit. You know, he may have done this, or she may have done this, or the model may have done this, but past performance is not indicative of future results. I'll say that same thing in terms of your own trading. If you have been trading poorly, if you have been performing poorly in life, if you are going through a slump, that could stop. That can stop at this very moment. And from this point forward, next minute, next hour, next day, next trade sequence, next trading day, however you structure your books and your business, next quarter, next year, right? It starts right now. Anything that's happened in the past is you know, water under the bridge, and it's up to all of us to decide how we move forward. Whether we cower, complain, whether we use our time constructively or destructively. Do we get mad at the market? Do we get mad at others? Do we do things that get in the way of us moving forward with a clean mind? Right? Love, uplift, inspire. Okay? That's what this life is about. The more that I've lived it, the more that I've learned that, and I wish I would have learned that much earlier in my life. So to the extent that we can move forward along those lines, let's see what we can do. I've got some very aggressive, continuing aggressive business goals. I've got a $10 million goal in mind. It's a real target. And I'm zigzagging my way there. So I get a lot of work to do there, and that's where my primary focus is. If I can share some insights along the way, great. I hope that helps. Anyway, that's it for now. If I don't talk to you before the end of the year, have a very Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful holiday season, and just try to take that next step, take that brush to that blank canvas, and you know, the sky really is the limit. Don't let anyone ever tell you that it's not. Life is far, far too short. Take care. Good night.